The best 65-inch 4K TVs are fantastic buys for those of you looking to really upgrade their home cinema setup. With average TV sizes growing every year and 55-inch now acting as the flagship size, what better way to differentiate yourself and ensure you're getting a higher impact picture than to opt for a 65-inch 4K TV instead. Given the size of these TVs, it's obvious that the best 65-inch 4K TVs you can buy today won't suit every home, budget, or taste. You should definitely make sure that you have the space for it first either way. But if you're thinking 65-inch screens are too expensive, you couldn't be more wrong. As you consider what you can afford, how bright your room is, and where it'll look best in your living room, let's take a look at our favorite 65-inch TVs right now. Stay with us until the end because you don't want to miss our number one pick as we count down the 7 best 65-inch 4K and 8K LED TVs. And you can find a link to all the options on our list in the description down below. Now, let's get started. Number 7. Hisense U7QF QLED. If you're looking to save some cash on a new 65-inch TV, this Hisense U7QF could be a good fit for you. The U7QF is very affordably priced, especially considering it originally retailed for $18.99. It's a real looker too, with a sleek TV stand design with sharp accents on the bottom bezel that's far more confident than the timid feet you'll find on the XH95. You'll get universal HDR support with HDR10, Dolby Vision, and HLG all thrown in to ensure all bases are covered. The crisp 4K picture also applies to upscaled HD content, meaning that you'll never have to make do with any grainy content, even when sourcing older DVDs or HD streaming content. While you're not getting the true 10-bit HDR, the frame rate control used as a workaround still shows off a decent amount of the HDR spectrum. Our only real issue is with some motion judder, which won't make this the best set for action movies or sports matches. Some undercooked VIDAAU services attempting to replicate Samsung's TV Plus and art mode fall short, but they're relatively easy to ignore. The U7QF was a bit pricey for what it offered at launch, but now it's a great choice for the price. Number 6. Hisense H8g Quantum. The Hisense H8g is a cheap, capable television definitely worth checking out if you're after a 65-inch 4K TV without the eye-watering price. Hisense is often a reliable TV brand for budget sets, offering premium technologies like Dolby Vision HDR and Dolby Atmos audio for far less than the competition, and indeed, you'll find both of these supported on the H8g. The 65-inch model retails just $700 too, making it a real bargain for the amount of screen that you get. You'll get a full array backlight rather than measly edge lighting too. You're skimping on looks compared to some sets on this list, and the Android TV interface isn't the smoothest, even if it is relatively easy to use. But if you're not fussed about the bells and whistles, the H8g will still dazzle you with its lively and colorful picture, and isn't that the most important thing? Number 5. Samsung Q80T QLED TV. Samsung's QLED TVs are still trickling onto the market, but we've already got our hands on the really quite excellent Samsung Q80T QLED. The Q80T isn't the fanciest QLED in this year's range, but it really does offer a lot as the cheapest QLED with a full array backlight, meaning that you don't have to skimp with an edge-lit display. It's a fantastic choice for gamers given consistently low input lag to ensure your gaming console of choice or otherwise is funneling video output to your screen with as little delay as possible at just 8.7 milliseconds image lag. The set's dedicated Game Motion Plus setting also reduces judder and blur for smoother gameplay at a still respectable 19.7 millisecond lag too. The externals of the television are a bit plainer than some of the higher end QLEDs out there, like the zero bezel Q950T S8K QLED, and we found in our test the odd speck of blooming around bright light sources. But the picture is still very exceptional with a bright HDR and AI enhanced images to make this a great choice for any viewer gamer buying a TV in 2020. The 65-inch Q80T QLED is currently retailing at $17.99. It's technically an update to last year's Q70R rather than the higher end Q80R, so we possibly wouldn't advise upgrading if you have the latter already. Number 4. Hdr Master Sony A8 A8h Oled. Finally, the Sony A8 A8h Oled got knocked off its perch. Sony's new A8h Oled TV makes everything we love about Sony's premium TVs and repackages it at a more reasonable price point. You're getting premium OLED picture performance with Sony's top-line X1 Ultimate processor, Sony's pixel contrast booster for more intense image highlights, and a new OLED version of the X-Motion Clarify feature Sony initially developed for its FALD LCD TVs. The impressive sound system, too, combines a 2-subwoofer base with screen-shaking acoustic surface audio tech, making for a real treat as a TV to watch movies and TV shows. What's notable about the A8h is that it applies HDR mastering to all SDR sources in vivid, standard, and cinema picture modes. This, across the board application, actually works, enhancing scenes without turning them into palettes of off-color images. There's no HDR10 Plus support though. Upscaling too is as exceptional as we found with the A9G. If you can deal with the slightly low brightness, you'll get to experience some of the most refined pictures of any OLED TV to date. Number 3. Panasonic HZ1500 OLED. The Panasonic HG1500's OLED panel and HCX Pro intelligent processor work together beautifully with deep and immense blacks that stop just shy of crushing dark areas of the screen. The HDR images are truly vibrant too, and all the better for Panasonic's universal HDR support, opting to include both HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision, as well as HLG and HLG photo mode instead of picking sides. There are a couple of notable omissions that stop the HZ2000 climbing higher on the list, mainly the lack of Disney Plus streaming service, as well as the absence of HDMI 2.1 ports. That last point, combined with unremarkable input lag, means that this isn't a gamer's dream, but the crowd Panasonic is really out to please is cinephiles. You won't be disappointed with the picture, and the 80-watt Dolby Atmos speakers will ensure that the sound doesn't slack either. There is a HZ2000 model with a custom OLED panel and total 140-watt audio output if you really want a TV that pushes the envelope too. You won't get this set in the US, despite Panasonic's cozy relationship with Hollywood colorists. But those of you in the UK, Europe, Australia, and Canada can count on it coming to you, starting at $24.99 for the 55-inch model and going up to $34.99 for the 65-inch model. Number 2. Samsung Q800T QLED TV. There are plenty of new Samsung TVs to consider this year, but the Q800T 8K QLED might be one of the most eye-grabbing. While it doesn't have the panache of the more premium Q950TS, it does feature the same impactful object tracking sound audio system with various drivers placed around the screen for vertical and horizontal range. You're also getting one of Samsung's 8K TVs for the same price the 4K Q90R retailed for last year, making this a great choice for someone put off by 8K's lofty price tag in previous ranges. Samsung is aggressively pursuing 8K these days, so much so that it's saving the best specs and features for 8K models. That means the Q95T isn't quite as impressive as its previous iteration, and means that the Samsung TVs are including more and more 8K screen as time goes on. The Q800T offers predictable, exceptional upscaling, with even HD looking crisp and detailed on its 8K screen. Colors aren't always as popping as on the Lg Cx above. This Samsung set does, however, have ample brightness, even if the full array backlight tends to temper its brightest images to reduce blooming of halos against dark backgrounds. Number 1. Lg Cx Oled. Easily one of the best TVs of the bunch, this OLED set offers drop-dead black levels, incredible picture quality, and LG's, as usual, stellar design. There's not much difference compared to the LG C9, which held this spot last year, aside from an upgraded chip to better improve the picture processing algorithms. The display is also incredibly thin at just a couple of millimeters deep, while still managing to fit in 4 HDMI 2.1 ports and a brilliantly low input lag, meaning that this is one set able to handle those next-gen consoles coming later this year. Not to forget LG's WebOS smart platform, which is market-leading in its intuitive interface and helpful content rows. You'll get Dolby Vision and Atmos support too, even if HDR10 Plus isn't currently supported by LG TVs. You can nab it in 48-inch, 55-inch, and 77 inches too. But those of you after a jaw-dropping 65-inch TV need look no further. This is what you've been looking for all your life.